Good morning. Good morning, traders. How are you all doing today? Karibuni sana. Glad you could all join us this fine Wednesday morning. Hope everyone is doing well. Apologies for starting a few minutes late. We did have some fundamentals that did end up coming out at 9 o'clock. 9 is the Frankfurt market open, which was around 10 minutes ago. We need to adjust a few things because the British pound pairs, yesterday they were showing a lot of strength. Right now, we could end up seeing some weakness. However, apologies for that, but at least we'll end up jumping straight into that. So, hey everyone, how are you doing today? My name is Mitch Kanyadu, a trader with Afriforex. I want to welcome you to another Afriforex daily analysis session. Now, I do know during these webinars or this session, we analyze the markets, we identify what trading opportunities we'll be looking at taking for the day, and we do share that information with you. So, as usual, we do have John in the back office, so he'll be here to assist you on whatever questions or queries you might have. So, feel free to ask those questions either in the Q&A section or in the chat box, and John will be able to respond to you. But remember, if you'd like me to address anything, kindly ask those questions on the Q&A section, and I will be addressing all of them at the end of the webinar. So let's jump straight into it. So we'll start off here by sharing my screen. So we'll start off as usual with our watch list. So on our watch list yesterday, you can clearly see the difference between yesterday and today. So yesterday, our focus, well, we're looking for selling opportunities on the US dollar, the Japanese yen, as well as the Canadian dollar. We were looking to mix and match them with all the other pairs on the buy side. So that's the New Zealand dollar, the Australian dollar, the British pound, the euro, and the Swiss franc. However, today, there's been a number of changes. So we can see majority of pairs have moved from the buy side to the sell side. So our focus today will be focusing on looking for buying opportunities on the British pound, the Australian dollar, the Swiss franc, as well as the euro. So we're going to focus on these three pairs, and we're going to mix and match them with all the other pairs on the sell side. So the US dollar, the yen, Canadian dollar, the New Zealand dollar, and the British pound as well. So before, as usual, we jump on to today's pairs, let's have a look at the pairs that we did have yesterday that we could have actually, or at least could have taken trading opportunities from, see what happened, whether or not we could have taken advantage of that. Before we do look at a few screenshots, then we will focus on today's pairs. So we'll start off here with the New Zealand dollar against the US dollar. Now, yesterday, our bias here was to look for buying opportunities, and the buys worked really, really well. Remember the three levels that we had pointed out? And initially, we did mention that the fact that we're within an area where there are sellers, we needed one of two options. Either the price coming down to the buyer's area for us to look for the buy, or if we're able to get the price breaching and holding above within this particular area, we could end up looking for buying opportunities. And you can see that's exactly what happened. You can see the illustration that we had pointed out. Once the price breached the upside on a pullback, the price coming back in and confirming that the price is actually holding above. You can see how many times that it did that, bouncing off these levels, but it did not take off. And the only reason for that is because it needed a big boy to actually move the market. And if you take note of the time that it actually took off was at 3 o'clock. That's the US market open. Remember, we always point out these market opening times, 10, 3, and 4:30. You could end up finding some nice trading opportunities, especially if you find that the story ends up lining up properly like this. So this trade worked out very well during the US session yesterday. Now, unfortunately, today, it is off our watch list because we did have some New Zealand dollar interest rate news that did come out earlier in the morning that's showing a lot of weakness on the New Zealand dollar pairs. And you can clearly see how much the market has come down. So unfortunately for us, this is a pair that's going to be off our watch list for today. So moving on to the next pair that we did have the New Zealand dollar against the Japanese yen. Similar situation, our bias yesterday was to look for buying opportunities, and you can see the three areas that we had pointed out for potentially looking for buying opportunities there. Wanted to see a breach and a hold above, but you can see as the price came back in, wanted to see whether or not it was going to actually hold above this area. It did not. It actually came back in, and at 3 p.m., the price was holding below this area. So that wasn't a good sign for us. And you can clearly see even during the US session, nothing much happened. This price just actually ended up ranging, bouncing between these two levels. You can see this particular high here and this particular low where the price just kept on ranging, no real activity. But today, during the Asian session, you can see that similar situation where the New Zealand dollar is showing a lot of weakness. So unfortunately, the trades yesterday did not really take off. And today, this pair is off our watch list based on this aggressive New Zealand dollar weakness that we are experiencing. So fortunately for us, we're not going to be focusing on that pair today. So moving on to the next pair that we did have, you can see most of them did work out quite well. In this kind of pair, we were looking for buying opportunities on the New Zealand dollar against Canadian dollar. Now, we wanted to see whether or not we could get the price breaching and holding above this area, which you can see did do that during the London market open at 10. And the price kept on holding, not really taking off. And it only took off at 3 p.m. once it did end up getting some big boys to actually move the market. So similar situation, this trade worked out very nicely during the US session. Unfortunately, today, you can see that same weakness coming in on the New Zealand dollar pairs, bringing this price all the way down lower. And that's the reason why this pair is going to be off our watch list, right? So moving on to the next pairs that we did have. Right now, we did also have the British pound against the US dollar. Remember, yesterday we did have some fundamental news coming out at 9 o'clock during the Frankfurt market open, similar to today. And we did see the prices really breaking this area to the upside. We did point out, don't chase your buying opportunities there. Wait to see if you can get a pullback coming back in and holding above this particular area. And you can see that's exactly what happened. Once the price during the London session started giving us a pullback, it kept on holding, but if you realize it was at 3 p.m., once the US market did open, that's when the price did manage to take off really through the upside, continue to go up higher. But unfortunately, today, this is a pair that's off our watch list. And you can see the Frankfurt market did end up coming in with some British pound fundamentals, which we can clearly see here. You can see today some CPI fundamentals that did come in that are definitely bringing in a lot of weakness for the British pound. You can see the way this market has come down. So unfortunately, these are pairs that could potentially give us issues today. And that's the reason why it is off our watch list. So moving on to the next pair for review, we did have the British pound against the Japanese yen. Our bias here was to look for buying opportunities. The yen didn't really take off as well as we had hoped for, but we can clearly see at 10 o'clock, the price looked as if it was attempting to break this area to the upside. Wasn't as convincing, where the market actually started giving us the pullback throughout the London session. And if you realize the price came down within this particular area at 3, wasn't really within the SNR, but you can see at 4:30, the market even managed to spike all the way down towards this level and attempt to go up higher. Unfortunately, this pair could have been a bit tricky to try and grab this. You might need a lot more experience down here, or maybe going down to a much smaller time frame to be able to grab that buying opportunity. And you can see the price did still manage to get all the way to the main seller's area at the top. But unfortunately, today, we could end up getting some issues. We can't even see this market does seem to be starting to range, even though it is still respecting both levels. That weakness that's coming in on the British pound, we can't necessarily rely on this pair to actually go to the upside. And that's the reason why this pair is going to be off our watch list for today. So moving on to the next British pound pair, or at least pair for review, we did have the British pound against the Canadian dollar. On this kind of pair yesterday, our bias was to look for buying opportunities. You can see that strength that really did come in, did point out we needed to see a pullback coming in. Hopefully, the price actually holding below this or above this particular support and resistance area, and to take note of the market opening times. So I actually managed to even grab this buying opportunity right here. Well, I did wait for the pullback to come in during the London session, and we always point this out. We might find that during the London session, you get the pullback. During the US session, that's when the trade moves. Or it could be vice versa. If you find the trade already moving during the London session, make sure you manage during the US session, because you could end up finding the market actually turning, maybe giving more of a pullback. So in this pair, this worked out quite well, going through the upside. And you can see it did manage to continue going up even way past my take profit. But today, this is a pair that's going to be off our watch list, because you can clearly see that weakness that's coming in on the British pound pair. It's not a pair that we'll be looking at taking for today. Even though we do have some British pound pairs that we'll look at, but we also want to match it with a proper pair that if the British pound pairs don't necessarily react, the other pair will still push the trade in the proper direction that we're looking for. So that's it for all the for all the pairs for review. So right now we'll end up having a look at a few screenshots before we do jump on to today's pairs. So we'll start off here with Alvin. Alvin, you did manage to grab a selling opportunity on the British pound against the US dollar. It seems you did actually end up taking the pullback that was coming in. I hope you did manage your trade within that support and resistance area. Remember, we did end up having a look at the British pound pairs. They did manage to go up after the price did pull back. Or at least I do end up hoping you managed your trade once the US market did open. But very nice trade right here as the price is coming down lower. By this point in time, you should be able to move your stop loss slightly lower. Remember, we always focused on as the price came down right here, there were some sellers who are pushing the price right here. So as long as you're putting your stop loss following the main seller who is pushing down, you can see right now there's a seller right here. So if you could have had your stop loss there, you can be able to now take the trade as it continues moving ahead. But very well done on this trade, Alvin. We also did manage to grab a selling opportunity on the euro against the US dollar. Very nice sell right there at the top. There were some fundamentals that did come out yesterday on the pullback. So very nice sell. We can see the price really did come down in your favor. Stop loss, similar situation. You can be able to secure a bit more profit because you don't necessarily want the price to end up coming back up. And all that trade, or at least all that profit that was in your account, ends up going to waste. So remember, always try and make sure that you're securing as much as possible as well. But very, very well done this trade, Alvin. So also next, we get Bravin. Bravin, happy to see a screenshot here. Obviously, you do love trading silver. So happy to see you managed to grab a very nice selling opportunity on silver. We can clearly see the price coming down in your favor. Stop loss already below your entry. We are within an area where the buyers, so I do end up hoping we did manage your trade within that location. But we do know, Bravin, you know what you're doing, but very good job on that trade. So also next, we did get George. George Chege, he did manage to grab a very nice buying opportunity on gold. So very nice buy. As you can clearly see the price really going up in your favor. In fact, multiple buys. Happy to see your stop loss is above your entry and within a very, very good place. You can clearly see you put it below the buyers who are pushing to the upside. So this is a very, very well done in this trade, George Chege. So keep up the good work. Nothing much for me even to say here. Very well done on this. So also next, you did grab a buying opportunity on oil. Seems that you like trading oil, but very nice buy right there. Trade is already risk-free with your stop loss above your entry. And your target area is within a very good area, and you can clearly see the price is approaching that location. So very, very good job on this trade, George. And keep up the great work that you've been doing. So also next, we also did get Mark Warren. He did end up managing to grab a very nice selling opportunity on the euro against the US dollar. Very nice sell right there at the top. Can see your trade has already started coming down in your favor. Stop loss is already way below your entry, so very good job. As long as you're possibly on the 15 minutes, as long as you're following the ebb and flow, the lower lows and lower highs of the buyers and sellers, and putting your stop loss within those locations should be very good. So very, very well done on this trade, Mark. So also next, this is the trade I actually got. This is the trade that we just ended up showing you on the British pound against Canadian dollar. Got the buy right there at the bottom. You can see the price really going up. By this time, it was already at the high. And you can see the aspect of what we keep on mentioning. We need to also practice what we preach. So where the stop loss is, these were the new buyers who are pushing up. So as long as my stop loss was below there, it was safe. Because remember, the prices can still pull back to support and resistance areas, or even all the way till the buyers areas can still go to the upside. So those are things that we end up watching out for. So we're giving the trade enough space to move. So that's it for all the screenshots that we didn't manage to get. Shout out to everyone who did manage to send them in to us. So remember, guys, if you do manage to take any setups based on things that we do share, feel free to send them in to us. There should be a contact detail in the chat box where you can send them in to us via WhatsApp. So jumping into today's pairs. So right now, we'll start off with the Australian dollar pairs, mix and match with the pairs on the sell side. Do the same thing with the Swiss franc, then the euro, before we do have a look at the indices as well as gold and silver. So we'll start off with the Australian dollar against the US dollar. Now, on this kind of pair, yesterday our bias was to look for buying opportunities. The buys did work out quite well. It was a bit tricky to actually grab this buying opportunity, because you can see at 10 o'clock where we were, or within this area where the sellers, we needed a proper breach to the upside and a hold above, because we did have the level right here for us to look for that buying opportunity. You can see the price did not actually end up doing that, gave us more of a pullback. At 3 p.m., so still holding below this area, bounced off a particular buyer's area. But you can see once the price was able to break this area to the upside and hold above, this was around 5:30 p.m. So just after the New York Stock Exchange opened, you can see once the price was confirmed that it was holding above, you can clearly see the trade really did work out going to the upside. So today, the bias here is still going to be looking for buying opportunities. So we're adjusted the level slightly. So right now we've made a new high, and you can clearly see this is an area that's giving us issues. So no buying opportunities anywhere close to this seller's area. We need to see if we can end up getting a pullback coming in, potentially within one of these two areas. But the first area we'll be watching out for is within this first support and resistance area. So if we do see the prices giving us a pullback, and you see the price is actually struggling or holding within this particular level, and it lines up within the market opening times, remember 10, 3, and 4:30, then you could end up finding a nice buying opportunity right there. But for now, let's wait to see what happens, because remember, this price could still end up breaking this area to the upside, and if it holds above, you should be able to continue looking for buying opportunities. Similar situation to what happened yesterday, but do take note of the market opening times. In this situation, if the price comes down lower, breaks and goes below this red support resistance area, that's when this pair will fall off our watch list. So if this level doesn't hold and you see the sellers really coming down, remember, it's still up for a buy as long as we are holding above the red support and resistance area. So we could end up finding a very nice buying opportunity there. That's if the price gets there. So hope that's clear on the Australian dollar against the US dollar. As we move on to the next currency pair, which is the Australian dollar against the Japanese yen. Now, on this pair, our bias yesterday was to look for buying opportunities. The bias did work out. As you can clearly see, yesterday we were approaching the seller's area. Remember, we always point out, not look for those buying opportunities close to the sellers. These sellers actually ended up giving us the pullback throughout the London session. And you can see where the price was within this particular buyer's area. 3 and 4:30, the price was at the extreme area. it could have actually given you a buying opportunity there to be able to take it up higher. And remember, that's why we also say manage your trade within this problem area. You can see during the Asian session, similar situation, that seller's area reacted, coming back to the same buyer's area, and the buyers are still able to push this pair to the upside. So overall, we'll still be focusing on the same level since we're still respecting them. But now one thing to take note of is the market structure. Right now, we do seem to be in a range bouncing between these two levels. But overall, we are definitely going to be looking for buys. But right now, us being close to the seller's area, not a good place for us to look for our buys. Let's wait to see if we can end up getting this pullback coming in. Similar situation to what we had drawn yesterday. We can end up getting the price approaching this particular area and holding above. We could end up finding a nice buying opportunity. Maybe if it ends up giving us some sort of probe, something like that. But if this level doesn't hold, remember, we are still going to be looking for buys as long as we're holding above the red support and resistance area. So if this level doesn't hold or these buyers do not have enough strength, possibly we could end up getting the price coming down a bit lower. The reason why I'm saying that is you can see how aggressive the sellers ended up reacting. And if the sellers are showing a bit more aggression, maybe this price is not good enough, we could end up seeing the price coming down a bit lower to incite a few more sellers before the buyers do end up taking over. So we wait to see what ends up happening. But if we can get the price breaching and holding above this level right here at the top, we should be able to continue looking for buying opportunities on the Australian dollar against the Japanese yen. So hope that's clear on the Australian dollar against the yen. As we move on to the next Australian dollar pair, which is the Australian dollar against the Canadian dollar, running similar correlation with the Australian dollar against the US dollar. You can see where we were yesterday in the morning. Well, between these two levels, we did point out we need to see either a pullback coming in or a breach and a hold to the upside for us to look for those trading opportunities. So you can see during the London session, the price managed to get towards the seller's AM. Sellers did end up reacting, giving us a small pullback. At 3 p.m., the price did end up bouncing off some small buyers area, still in the middle of these two locations. But you can see once the price was able to break this area to the upside, and in the pullback, it showed confirmation that the price was holding above. In this situation, this was around 6 p.m. yesterday. There was a buying opportunity, and you can see the price really did go through the upside. So today, the bias here is still going to be looking for buying opportunities. So we'll be focusing on these three areas. So right there, we have some sellers. So definitely do not want to jump in on buying opportunities anywhere there. We need to see if we can end up getting this pullback coming in. So we'll be looking to see how the market ends up reacting within this fast support and resistance area. Hopefully, we'll take note also of the market opening time. I know a lot of people end up asking, how do you get the timing correctly? But timing also includes what time it actually is. So take note of those specific times. If you're finding that the trade is looking nice, or at least based on your price action signals or whatever it is that you're looking for, but it's not within one of those market opening times, you might find your trade just holding. But if you do find it and it lines up with the market opening time, you could end up getting some nice opportunities there. So I guess in this one, we'll just wait to see. You can end up getting this pullback coming in, hopefully holding above within this particular area. If not, we'll wait to see if we can end up grabbing the buying opportunity within this buyer's area right here. So hope that's clear on the game plan. Right now, we just need to see how that pullback is coming in. You can see the sellers do seem to be reacting quite a bit aggressive. Let's wait to see. We definitely need a better price than this because these buyers couldn't take it to the upside. We might end up getting it coming a bit lower. So moving on to the next Australian dollar pair we do have the Australian dollar against the New Zealand dollar, brand new entry on our watch list. Now, this one is a bit tricky because you can't clearly see how much weakness the New Zealand dollar pairs have really shown. In fact, these pairs have really moved quite a bit of pips. So in this situation here, there's already 120 pips just today morning alone. But we'll be focusing on what we can do today. So we have identified 3 levels. I know they're quite high, or at least within this particular area, but overall, we do want to jump in on buys. However, we don't want to chase the market. Remember, if everyone is seeing this, or at least if it's clear to you, it's clear to everyone else. So most people are jumping in on buys right now. Remember, the best thing to note is if you're jumping in on a buy, where are you going to put your stop loss? And in this situation, we don't necessarily have a good place just yet. So we need one or two things to happen, either a breach of a certain area or a pullback to an area of interest. So hopefully right now, since we're within a seller's area, we can end up getting the price giving us a pullback, maybe probing and holding above here. We could potentially look for buying opportunities. But remember, if that doesn't happen within this area, it could still come down all the way to its particular location. Because remember, based on a higher time frame, especially if we do go up to the 1 hour, so you can see that this was an scenario area where the price was holding. So the fact that the price has reached the upside, I wouldn't be surprised if this level, that doesn't happen, and actually the price manages to come all the way down towards this support and resistance area before we actually see the price continue going to the upside. Remember, everyone is chasing. So all those people who are chasing, we might need to end up getting stopped out for them to switch their bias and start turning in to sellers before we are able to actually continue with those buying opportunities. But for now, we just need to be patient, wait to see how this pullback comes in, but we watch to see how it ends up approaching one of these areas right here. But remember, if the price is able to continue going up to the upside, we get a breach and the price will actually hold above, we should be able to continue looking for buyers, but don't necessarily try and target too far because already the fact that the market has moved a lot, a pullback is required. So hope that's clear on the Australian dollar against the New Zealand dollar. If we move on to the next pair that we do have brand new entry on our watch list, which is the British pound against the Australian dollar. So today, we're going to be looking for selling opportunities on this pair. You can see that weakness really coming in on the British pound pairs. But overall, we'll be focusing on these three levels. Right now, we do take note of the market structure. You can clearly see we do seem to be in some sort of range. It was early in the morning when the price was here. It was just at 9 o'clock the price actually started taking off to the downside. But overall, since we do want to look for selling opportunities, let's get confirmation that this level has actually been broken. So let's see if we can end up getting some sort of pullback to get the price actually showing confirmation it's holding below that particular area. There could be a potential selling opportunity. But remember, if the price comes back in and holds above, chances are we could even still come all the way to the red support and resistance area before we're able to continue looking for those selling opportunities on the British pound against the Australian dollar. But remember, since we're within a buyer's area, or at least approaching a buyer's area, we are able to get the price breaching and holding below this yellow support and resistance area. We should be good to go to continue looking for those selling opportunities on this kind of pair. So hope that's clear, at least on the game plan of what we're looking at doing on the Australian dollar pairs. As you can see, we've mixed and matched the Australian dollar pairs with all the pairs on the sell side. So right now, we're going to do the same thing with the Swiss franc. So we'll start off with the US dollar against Swiss franc. This is a pair that we did have yesterday. And yesterday, our bias was to look for selling opportunities. Now, we did have these three areas looking for sells, and the sells did work out quite well. Remember, we did point out the fact that we were within the seller's area. Wanted to see at 10 o'clock what was going to happen. 10 o'clock, nothing much happened. You can see the market just great. But if you do note, at 3 p.m., when the US market opened, that's when the price managed to actually go to the downside. Remember, I did point out there was some buyers area here that you needed to watch out for, but you can see as the price broke this area to the downside, the pullback showed confirmation that the price is holding below, could have actually given you another selling opportunity to be able to come down low. Might not necessarily have been that big, but maybe you could have been able to add size on that trade. Now, remember, overall today, on this pair, we're still going to be looking for selling opportunities. So we'll focus on the same levels that we did have aggressive sellers right there. We do have a buyer's area that we're holding right now, so we don't want to jump in and any selling opportunities just yet. We do have a problem area right here. Now, overall, if we do end up just going up higher to the 1 hour time frame, remember what the overall story is. With this market, we are definitely going to be looking for sells. And you can see how much strength the Swiss franc pairs really did have. And this move that's coming up to the upside could potentially be a pullback. And remember, we also pointed out yesterday that the reason why we're looking for this area is because the way the price went up and came down potentially was a probe. So the fact that the price could potentially end up reacting within this area. Those of you who have done the one-on-one mentorship or the AMP will be able to know exactly what we'll be looking for here. And this pair is showing like it could be quite nice, especially if we are able to get the price breaching and holding below. There's potential for the price even to be able to come all the way down to the bottom. But remember, that's going to be more of a long-term trade, not necessarily a day trade that we're looking at. So our focus here is still going to be looking for sells. Right now, we could potentially enter into some sort of range. You can see bouncing between these two levels. So don't necessarily even though the fact that the price was able to hold and come down lower. The fact that we've not been able to continue going and break below this area, we could easily find that we need a better price and the price could still come all the way to the top before we're able to look for those selling opportunities. But be aware, if we are able to get the price breaching and holding below this particular area, so if we get the price breaching and holding below, we should be able to continue looking for very nice selling opportunities on the US dollar against the Swiss franc. But this one looks pretty good, especially if we do get the price breaking and holding below. That gives you more confirmation that the buyers are not interested, and we could now start giving our lower lows and lower high series coming in. So hope that's clear on what we're looking at on the US dollar against the Swiss franc. So moving on to the next Swiss franc pair, which is the Swiss franc against the Japanese yen. will be notice that correlation that's coming in on all these pairs. So yesterday, our bias here was to look for buying opportunities. You can see the three areas that we had pointed out. Also did mention that we are within some sort of range, bouncing between these two levels. Now, yesterday, when we were discussing this market, it looked as if it was attempting to break this area to the upside. Remember, we did want the pullback to come in and actually hold above this particular area. Now, it attempted to do that where it came down lower, but the fact that the price came back in, and if you take note, the market opening hours, the price wasn't there within either 3 o'clock or 4:30. It was around 1 or 12 midday, or the fact that there was no real fundamentals coming out for this pair. Can clearly see the price managed to come down lower and still seems to be respecting this range, especially if I go up to the 1 hour time frame. You'll be able to see the market has been ranging, bouncing between these two levels. And this was just a probe that ended up happening. But you can see even today morning, the price was able to still come down lower. Look as if it was breaking this area and gave us a very nice probe. So overall, this pair, we're going to definitely still be looking for buying opportunities, still focus on the same three areas that we did have yesterday. However, today, what's possibly going to happen, or at least what I'll be waiting for, you can see the fact that right now, we did end up getting a very nice probe right here. So the fact that the market has probed, let's hope to see if we can end up getting this pullback coming in. If it does end up holding above this area, we could potentially end up seeing a buying opportunity there. So that's definitely something I'll be waiting for to see. So in these situations, rather than just sitting here and watching it, can be able to set alerts. And as the price approaches the area of interest, then I'll be able to identify and see how is the market approaching there. How do I end up seeing some buyers reacting? Is it lining up with the market opening time? If I do see that, it could be a nice trading opportunity. Or you could easily find the price actually breaking this area to the upside. And similar situation to yesterday, but if we do get the price holding above, and it's holding above within the market opening time, we could be able to look for those buying opportunities there. But we'll wait to see what ends up happening. But right now, since we're ranging, best place to look for the buy is at the bottom of the range. So hope that's clear on the Swiss franc against the Japanese yen. So moving on to the next Swiss franc pair, we did have the Canadian dollar against the Swiss franc. Now, similar correlation coming in with the US dollar against Swiss franc, especially if we do go up higher to a higher time frame. The fact that we have been coming down, Swiss franc strength, this seems to be a pullback. And the way theirs look like, even though we had the red support and resistance area here, we did have this blue level right here that did show that it could potentially be a sort of probe. Those of you who like chart patterns could end up even identifying this as what they call the head and shoulders pattern. Here you find the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder. So you could end up finding the price going down. But remember, even if you are going to look for such a trade, don't just jump in on the trade because you're saying it's a specific pattern. With this pattern, maybe you need to see that breach to the downside happen. That pullback coming in, there is where you're meant to actually look for your selling opportunities. Once you actually get the price actually breaking this area to the downside. So, or at least you can be able to go do a bit more research or Google what the head and shoulders pattern does end up showing. But yesterday, since our bias here was to look for sell, the price was giving us a pullback. We not get all the way to that particular area. At 10 o'clock, nothing much happened. At 3, the price was able to come down low, managing to come all the way down to the downside. I know this was a trade we were also looking at grabbing yesterday, but our pending order was just missed slightly at 3 p.m. and the trade ended up running against us. So such situations end up happening to have given us a very nice risk to reward. As you can see, risking 6 pips or 7 pips, targeting 28, but given us a nice risk reward of 1 is to 4.24. But it's okay. Remember, the markets will always give us opportunities every day. Even though the trade ended up happening, it's fine. We'll be able to look for more opportunities. So pretty much we'll have the exact same areas looking for these selling opportunities. So we'll be focusing on the aggressive sellers right there at the top. So as long as we're holding below that area, we should be looking for selling opportunities. We do have a buyer's area here, but we definitely need to watch out for. But if we are able to get the price breaching and holding below this buyer's area, we should be good to go to look for those selling opportunities. Right now, we might end up actually entering in some sort of range. So maybe the price might not necessarily get all the way to that particular area. What you could end up finding is maybe the price might actually just start ranging between these levels before maybe we see the price breaking and going to the downside. So for now, let's wait to see if we can end up grabbing the market within a seller's area. So when the price approaches this location right here, let's see within the market opening times. If it's there within one of the times, then we could end up finding a nice opportunity. If it's not, you might easily find even the price approaching this particular area. And if it's there within one of those market opening times, then we could end up finding this price actually going to the downside. So Hope that's clear, at least on what the game plan is on the Canadian dollar against Swiss franc. So moving on to the next Swiss franc pair, we do have the New Zealand dollar against the Swiss franc, brand new entry on our watch list. And in this kind of pair, our bias here is to look for selling opportunities. You can see that weakness that's really coming in with these New Zealand dollar pairs. But remember, we do not want to chase the market. Right now, we're approaching areas where there are buyers, so many close areas. So what we want to see is a pullback coming in. Whether or not the prices approaches one of these areas of interest, and we do see some sort of slowdown. So we wait to see what ends up happening now. Right now, the way the sellers have come in, we don't want to do anything. Let's wait to see if we can end up getting this pullback coming in, potentially within this particular area. Let's see if some slowdown, some sort of probe or price action signal, before we're able to find a nice selling opportunity there. But for now, let's wait to see. We are able to get the price coming down low, at least the sellers continue to get the price breaching and holding below this buyer's area down here at the bottom. We should be able to continue looking for selling opportunities as well on the New Zealand dollar against Swiss franc. So moving on to the last Swiss franc pair we do have, brand new entry on our watch list. And in this pair, this is the British pound against the Swiss franc. And here we will be looking for selling opportunities on this. So overall, these are the levels we will be focusing on right now, looking for the sells. It seems that the market did end up getting that motivation to really come down quite aggressive during the Frankfurt market open. But just because we have seen that, don't start chasing the market. We'll always say wait for some sort of pullback. Now, always take note, levels, support and resistance areas are always breached all the time. You can see there's an SNR area here, which lines up with very many levels. You can clearly see here, level that has just been holding quite a bit. So the fact that we've broken that area to the downside, what you could end up potentially doing, or at least what I will be looking at doing, is waiting to see how this pullback comes in. If I see the price there maybe at 10 p.m., then I would possibly be continuing to look for those selling opportunities to be able to target there. But I want to see how that pullback is coming in. I'm trying to look for a sell as close to the main sellers as possible to give my trade enough space to move to the downside. If I don't get that coming up, and then we do find the price actually continue to come down, then the main thing is I'll wait for this level to be breached. And on that pullback coming in, I'll be able to look for those selling opportunities there. The main thing is if you get a breach of a certain level, you know the buyers or sellers are there, then you need to see that pullback come in before you're able to continue with that trading opportunity. So pretty clear cut. That's what we'll be looking at doing, at least on this pair. Wait to see what happens if the price ends up approaching here. So that's where you can end up setting alerts. If you get notified, have a look at how the price is approaching that location, could find a nice trading opportunity. If the price comes back in and falls above, then we'll be waiting to see if we can grab the sells right there at the top. So hope that's clear for you for all the Swiss franc pairs. As you can see, we've done the Australian dollar and the Swiss franc, and we'll mix and match them with all the pairs on the sell side. So right now, we're going to do the same thing with the euro. So we'll start off here with the euro against the US dollar. Now, yesterday, our bias here was to look for buying opportunities, and you can see how much the markets really did move. So I might need to end up just switching it over like this. Remember, yesterday at 10 p.m., 10 a.m., yesterday we were holding within this particular seller's area. Remember, I did point out we need either a breach to the upside or hopefully at least a pullback. And it seems a number of you did manage to end up getting that counter trade for this price coming down lower. But remember, we always point out the market opening time. So at 10, the price was already coming down. At 3 p.m., or at least in this situation, it's around midday where the price was just holding. At 3, that's when the price actually took off to the upside. And you can see the fact that we did have a support and resistance area here. The sellers were running to the downside. Once the price was breached to the upside, you can see the pullback came in and the price was holding above that support and resistance area at 3. So it's similar situation to what I'm looking at here on the British pound against the Swiss franc. The fact that we're broken a level, waiting to see if we can get a pullback, continue looking for that sell. So in this situation, that ended up working at 3. We did end up missing that trade. You can see later on, the price attempted to give us a pullback. But this one might have been a bit difficult to end up getting because we did not necessarily get the price pulling back all the way to the main support and resistance area before the price continued going up higher. So this trade worked out quite well. So I do end up hoping you guys who had entered the counters do end up managing your trades because you can clearly see what could easily end up happening. So today, the bias here is still going to be looking for buying opportunities. So we'll be focusing on these 3 areas. Aggressive buyers right here at the bottom. Aggressive buyers here at the bottom. Right now, we're so close to the seller's area right there. So we do not want to jump in on any buying opportunities just yet. We need the pullback to come in, but we're so close to this area. So either we'll get the pullback coming in within this SNR level, or if we end up getting the price breaching and holding above, because it doesn't seem like the sellers are showing much strength to actually come to the downside. So if the buyers show up, we're able to breach this area to the upside and the price holds above, so meaning we get a pullback coming in, we should be able to look for buying opportunities on the euro against the US dollar. So hope that's clear on what the game plan is and what we're looking at doing on this pair. So moving on to the next euro pair, we do have the euro against the Japanese yen. Now, yesterday, our bias here was to look for buying opportunities. Still the same situation today. In fact, we pretty much have the exact same areas since the market does seem to still be respecting it. So we do know as long as we're holding above the red SNR, our bias is to look for buys. You can see yesterday what we pointed out, the fact that we were so close within a seller's area, do not jump in on that buy. We need either a breach to the upside or the pullback to come in for us to look for those buys. You can see the pullback came in quite nicely during the London session, and it's something we could read. You can see the way the lower lows and lower highs, the price ended up approaching the buyer's area at 3 p.m., or you could have ended up looking for a trade between 4:30. So you can see the market opening times does end up giving you more confidence for your trade actually moving. So the trade ended up working around, started moving around 6 o'clock. Manage to get to the seller's area. Remember, that's why we always point out, manage your trades or move your stop losses within break even. Because you can see if you did not manage your trade, or if your stop loss was still all the way down below there, imagine getting stopped out when the trade was all the way up in profit. Getting stopped out, then you find the price coming up. That's why you always need to do something to your trade, at least some sort of management. So today we did end up getting the price pulling back, giving a probe, and right now we do seem to be attempting to break this area to the upside. So if we do get something like this, what we were expecting yesterday, what we want to see is a pullback coming in, potentially holding above this area. And if it lines up within one of the market opening times, then we could end up finding a nice buy opportunity. But remember, this price has been this high before already, so you could easily find this price even giving us a probe. So remember, we are ranges probe a lot. So do we worry about this? Let's wait to see if the price actually holds above. If it does, then you have a good likelihood of continuing with the buy. If not, then chances are we'll still be looking for those buying opportunities all the way down at the bottom, because that's what you're meant to do when you are in a range. So hope that's clear on the euro against the yen, Japanese yen. As we're moving on to the next currency pair, we do have the euro against Canadian dollar. Canadian dollar pairs really did work out quite well yesterday. But similar situation yesterday during the London market open and the Frankfurt market open, within a seller's area. We do not want to jump in on any buying opportunities at that point in time. We needed either a breach to the upside or a pullback. And you can see both of them did end up happening. The pullback came in. Unfortunately, could not end up holding within this first SNR. Seems like it came to a small buyer's area. It seems like there were some buyers who are holding the market here. It seems that's where the price ended up reacting. So this was around midday or so. But you can see once the price came back in and was holding above this particular same area that we did end up having yesterday, because this was the level. You can see at 3 o'clock, that's exactly when the price was there. Could have given us a buying opportunity at that point in time. You can see later on, once the price broke this area to the upside, we did get a pullback coming in, showing us confirmation that the price is actually holding above, and there could have been another buying opportunity then. So this trade worked out quite well, and today the bias here is still going to be looking for buying opportunities, but you can see where we are. We're within an area where they're sellers, so no jumping on any buying opportunities just yet. We need either the price to break this area to the upside. So if we are able to get this price really going to the upside right now, and we do see it holding above. So a similar situation to what we were hoping for yesterday. We see the price giving us some sort of pullback and holding above, then we should be able to continue looking for buys. But we need to confirm that that level has actually been broken. If it comes back in and comes back inside, then we'll be looking to see if we can grab the buying opportunities from a bit lower down, because we might need a better price before the price is able to continue going up high. So hope the game plan is clear and what's happening on the euro against the Canadian dollar. So moving on to the next euro pair, we do have the euro against the New Zealand dollar. Brand new entry on our watch list, and you can see the aggression, or at least the very big weakness that's coming in on the New Zealand dollar pairs. But these prices have really moved to the upside. So the main thing we want to see is actually a pullback coming in. So right now, since we're so close within this area, and don't think that we've squeezed this market, these prices, or at least the markets have really moved. Just this distance is already over 100 pips. So there's 50 pips in between these levels. So let's wait to see if we can end up getting those pullbacks coming in. We are seeing the sellers reacting quite a bit. So let's wait to see if we can end up getting the price coming in a bit lower. Maybe we could end up looking for a buying opportunity there. But remember, we want something where we can actually end up reading the pullback. This one might be a bit too aggressive, but we wait to see how this pullback come in. If the price is able to break this area to the upside and continue holding above, Then at that point in time, we should be able to continue looking for buying opportunities on the euro against the New Zealand dollar. So hope that's clear. On the euro against the New Zealand dollar, you can clearly see even based on the 1 hour, this pair has really moved to the upside. After coming down, it's really gone up. You can see it's taken away all these weeks of data, and the price has really broken to the upside. So just be wary about that. Let's wait to see those pullbacks come in and do not chase the price. So last but not least, we do have the euro against the British pound. This is a brand new entry on our watch list. And over here, our bias is to look for buying opportunities. We're focusing on these three areas, but it seems that the Frankfurt market open and the British pound fundamentals really did come in quite aggressive. So right now we did have these three areas looking for the buys, and initially the price was just holding within this area. You can clearly see the strength of the buyer coming in. So right here, if we are getting the price breaching this area to the upside, let's see if we can end up getting a pullback coming in. We do see the price holding above, then we should be able to look for buying opportunities there. But if the price doesn't hold, remember, this could easily be a probe. You can see the last time price was able to go all that way and still be able to come down towards this area. So don't be surprised if that ends up happening, but that's the reason why we'll always wait for confirmation to see if that level has actually been broken. So that's pretty much what we'll be looking at here. Could potentially look for the next support and resistance area seems to be here, where the sellers did end up pushing down. You can see it's an area of support and an area of resistance that's been tested. So I think if we do end up getting the price breaching and holding above here, then maybe we could end up looking to try and target this next problem area around 0.85775. But remember, the pricings are always a bit different, so just watch out for the areas where buyers and sellers have ended up reacting. So I hope that's clear on all the currency pairs. As you can clearly see, we've mixed and matched all the pairs on the buy side with the pairs on the sell side. So right now, we're going to have a look at the indices before we do have a look at gold and silver. So we'll start off here with the NASDAQ, the NAS 100. So yesterday, our bias was to look for buying opportunities. You can see the three areas that we had pointed out. Fortunately, price really did end up breaking this area to the upside, really playing around with us a bit. As you can see, initially when we're having this session, the price was within the seller's area. It attempted to break this area to the upside, but on the pullback, the price never held above. It actually came back in and held below. So we knew there was no trade at that point in time just yet. So the price ended up giving us a pullback, bouncing off this small buyer's area. Not necessarily too sure exactly why, but it seems that the buyers were definitely interested in it at that time. And at 3 o'clock, that's when the price was able to break the area to the upside. There was a slight hold, I think, especially if you do go down to a smaller time frame. So remember, that's why we sometimes want to see how the market actually breaches and holds. You can see the first time the price came back in, it was actually holding below. But the next time, once the price broke this area to the upside, the price is actually holding above, or you could have ended up looking for the trade later on. That gave more confirmation that the trade actually had broken, or at least the pair had broken that level, and could have actually continued looking for buying opportunities. And you can see the buys really did work going to the upside. And now we do, or at least we will still be looking for buys, but right now, so close within the seller's area, or at least we are at a seller's area. So the main thing we want to do is wait for a pullback. So the fact that the sellers look as if they're potentially coming in, it's a good thing for us because we do not want to buy at such a high price. Let's see if we can end up getting the price coming down lower, potentially within this support and resistance area. So if we do see a slowdown coming in, then we could potentially end up looking for buying opportunity here, especially if it lines up with the market opening times. But remember, if you're not necessarily finding it within here and the market opening time, you might end up finding it within another buyer's area. So just take note of where have the buyers reacted from before. We've seen them reacting from there. You see the price seems to be holding within such a location. You could find some nice trading opportunities at that point in time. But not necessarily saying this is the area there. Could end up even seeing the price actually breaking this area to the upside. And if you do see it holding above, we should be able to continue looking for buying opportunities as well on the NAS 100. So pretty clear cut, nothing much for us to do. We need either a breach to the upside or a pullback to come in. So moving on to the next pair, we do have, here we have the Dow Jones. Now the Dow Jones yesterday, our bias was actually to look for selling opportunities. Remember, we're holding within that seller's area right there. But we did mention that if we are able to get the price breaching and holding above, we should be able to look for buying opportunities. And we did also point out there was a buyer's area that we did end up watching out for right here, where I did mention that these buyers seem to be holding the market. It will be much more clearer for looking for a sell once we're able to get that price being broken to the downside. So you can see during the London session, we did end up attempting to come down. So there was a small selling opportunity at during the London session, open at 10. Price managed to come down, but could not pass that level. And you can see how many times this buyer's area has reacted, multiple times. But after that, once the price was able to come to the upside, and it started lining up with the market opening time, broke to the upside, seemed to be holding above, but also this one might have been a bit tricky to get. But remember, we did point out, once we do get the price reaching and holding above this area right here, then our buyer switches and we can be able to start looking for buying opportunities. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing. Yesterday, we were looking for sells, but today our buyers are switched to the buys in the Dow Jones. So we'll be looking for buying opportunities based on these three areas. Right now, we're within an area where there's sellers, so nothing much for us to do. Could end up waiting for that pullback to come in. I think that's what I'll be waiting for to see. We ended up getting the pullback coming in. Hopefully, I would want to get the price come back down within here. But knowing the markets, it could also end up reacting within one of these other areas. You can see there's an area where there are buyers who have reacted from before. There's a support and resistance area here. Just these areas of interest, you just need to take note of. So rather than putting your alert all the way down here, maybe put your alert in the first level, wait to see once the price gets there, how is it reacting? If you're still seeing the sellers are coming aggressive, then you can maybe put your alert down lower to the next level as you're seeing that the market coming down low. But remember, if we do get the price breaking this area at the upside, this is not necessarily very convincing. I would rather want something like that. So on the pullback, I can be able to look for buying opportunity and will have an area where I can end up targeting. But right now, we've seen many times that this could easily end up being probes, but we'll wait to see what ends up happening. And remember, this market is mainly more active during the US session, even though we might see some activity during the London session, similar to yesterday, but the main move ended up happening during the US session. So just take note of that. So hope that's clear on what we're looking at doing on the Dow Jones, looking for buys. Now moving on to silver. Now on silver, we nothing much happened yesterday. There were some small selling opportunities, but today we've adjusted the level slightly because remember now the overall story that we were looking at, can end up just quickly illustrating here, is the fact that this market really came down. There were some sellers within this area that really pushed this market to the downside. And you can see that the aggression of the seller coming all the way down to here. Look at the pullback coming in. So this pullback, or at least how the buyers are coming in, the buyers do seem as if they're struggling to go to the upside. But that doesn't mean that on the smaller time frame, it still looks as if it could potentially be a buy, even though on the bigger time frame, the sell could still end up coming in. So that's the reason why for today, since we want to be able to look for trading opportunities for the day, we have adjusted the level slightly. We will be looking for buying opportunities, no longer sells, and we'll be focusing on these three areas. So aggressive buys right there. We do have a support and resistance area here, as well as the main sellers right here at the top, or at least we have some major sellers down there. So the fact that we want to end up looking for buys, we'll definitely be looking for buys based on these three areas. However, if we do see, and we take note that there's a possibility if the price ends up coming down lower, right? And we don't necessarily see there could be a buying opportunity there, but if we're able to get the price reaching and holding below this red support and resistance area, waiting for that pullback for the price to hold below, then there we couldn't actually see the market continue to come down based on the 4-hour time frame. But for now, in the short term, we know as long as we're holding above this red support and resistance area, the best thing for us to do would be to look for buying opportunities based on these three areas. So right now we're approaching this area where the sellers might end up entering into some sort of range, bouncing between these two levels. But if we're able to get the price reaching and holding above this area, we should be able to continue looking for buys, but just watch out for the major sellers area. Because remember, we did have a sellers area right here at the top around 28.195 or so. So watch out for that particular area as well. So I hope the game plan is clear, or at least what we're looking at doing on silver. So as we move on to the last kind pair, which we do have, which is gold. Now on gold, yesterday, our bias was to look for buying opportunities. It still is the same situation today. Now you can see the three areas that we had pointed out. Now I wanted to see if the price could end up coming down a bit lower, coming towards this buyer's area for us to look for those buying opportunities. You can see the price just held within this location. It seems these sellers kept on holding the market. At 10, we couldn't reach, we came down. But at 3, that's when we did end up getting a small breach, attempting to go to the upside. Now, we did manage to get all the way till here, but this was around 4:30. And remember, we also talk about here within one of the market, buyers or sellers areas, within one of these market opening time, you could find those areas actually reacting. So the fact that we're within a seller's area at 4:30, there's no surprise that the sellers did end up reacting. And in fact, it seems that this price, since they managed to end up getting down all the way till here, and they were not able to make a new high, it means that this price right here was not good enough. And that's possibly why you can see today morning, we actually ended up coming down a bit lower, getting a better price. And maybe right now we could actually end up seeing the prices continuing to go to the upside. So overall, here we'll still be looking for buying opportunities, and we pretty much have the same areas that we'll be focusing on. Aggressive buyers down there. So as long as we're holding above this red support and resistance area, our bias is to look for buying opportunities. And we'll be focusing on these three areas. Now, this level right here, I think that there's a level being breached the upside right now, but you definitely need to watch out for these sellers who push down lower. So even if we, let's say, wait for a small pullback, we'll be interested to see how this market comes back in. Maybe it might end up giving us a small pullback within this particular area before it actually attempts to come up higher. But remember, this being gold, gold is mainly active during the US session. So don't think that right now you're going to be left behind. Don't have that FOMO. You can end up being a bit patient and waiting to see whether or not the price actually ends up giving us more of a pullback, or the price is able to continue going to the upside. But remember, if you find the price within a buyer's or seller's area, especially in our case, since we're looking for buyers, find within a buyer's area within one of the market opening times, you could find some nice trading opportunities on gold. So that's it. That's pretty much it for me. And for all the kinds of pairs, as you can see, we've mixed and matched all the pairs with all the other pairs on the sell side, at least the buy pairs, the pairs on the sell side. So I can be able to address some questions if there are any. And I'm not seeing any. So I'm seeing Alan Rono saying, hi, Mix, thanks a lot. Karibu sana, Alan. Glad that you're here. And I'm seeing Robert Murioki saying, asante sana, Mix. Karibu sana, Robert. Glad that you're here as well. We hope at least you guys have found some nice value in these sessions, at least learning a lot as well. Remember, we want to end up helping you guys as much as possible. So even Margaret Luguna is saying, thank you, Mix. Karibu sana, Margaret. I'm glad to see you here as well. So I guess that is it. I'm not necessarily seeing any more questions, but that's okay. It is already 10 o'clock. Remember, the London market opening right now. Be aware of fundamentals. We have a number of fundamentals today. Take note of the euro. So don't necessarily enter a trade, then just wait. Take note the fact that we have GDP news on the euro at 12. Take note that if you're in on any trade before 12, make sure that you can end up managing your trade at that time. So we'll end up informing you in the Telegram channel if there are any changes to the watch list. But for now, do take note of 12 o'clock and at 3:30, we do have some post CPI news. This is possibly going to end up bringing a lot of volatility on the market as well. So do take note of that. So watch out for the timings. Even though we mentioned 10, 3, and 4:30, but also take note of 12 and 3:30 today, because you could find some movements really happening on the chart. So last thing I'm seeing here, Patricia, you're asking me to display gold again. Here you go. You can be able to look at this. And also remember, guys, we do end up having this on our YouTube channel. I know that's one thing. Most people would miss these sessions, and they think that they can't come for the session in the morning. They've missed it. We've tried to make it easier for you guys as much as possible. So even the levels, the pricings, all of that should be there. So you can be able to find it on our YouTube channel. So you can end up finding it on Afriforex. Just simply search Afriforex and you should be able to get it. And if you're there, don't forget to at least make sure you subscribe and drop a like as well. So I'm seeing also Caroline Muniki asking, where do I share the screenshots? So there should be a number in the chat box. John can end up putting it there, so you should be able to find it, or I can end up asking him to put it under your question, but you should be able to send it to us via WhatsApp. So I hope, Patricia, this is good. Looking for the buys right now, we're potentially in some sort of range. Let's wait to see. Can get the buy at the bottom here, or if we end up getting the price continue to go up higher, reaching and holding above, then we should be able to continue looking for those buying opportunities as well. So hope that is clear for everyone. So I guess that's it from me and from us. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today. Hope you guys have found value in these sessions. Remember, if you take any setups, feel free to send them in to us, whether we're not good, they're good or bad. Remember, we're trying to here to help you guys as much as possible. So the only way you can learn is from your mistakes. You don't necessarily learn from the perfect things that you do as well. So do send them in to us. We really appreciate it, and we'll try and help you guys as much as possible. Anyway, guys, I hope to see you guys tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Cheers, guys. God bless. Happy trading, and bye for now.